You've always got to be ahead of the game. No matter how well something is working, if you don't make tweaks here and there, you'll eventually run out of steam. That's why I'm doing this naked right now. Keep them guessing. Wrestlers like The Undertaker and Chris Jericho have proven themselves masters at this time and time again, and it's likely a reason for their longevity. They saw what else was happening and ensured to move with the changing world. It was awesome they were able to do that and had the power to do so, but this goes the other way too. Some performers just get told what's about to happen in terms of their character, and it's not always what makes the most sense. In fact, sometimes it can be so bad, it can wreck an individual's career entirely. Pull the rug out from underneath them and hurl it into the bin. I'm Simon from What Culture, and this is 10 great wrestling careers ruined by a bad gimmick. Number 10, Giant Bernard to Lord Tensai. As Albert or A-Chain, Matt Blame never really got higher than WWE's mid-card. He was reliable enough, but mostly known as the guy who had a hairy back. Once he left though, he found tremendous success in Japan, winning many a title in New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah, teaming with the likes of Carl Anderson and Tyson Tomko along the way. When word got back to Vince McMahon that Giant Bernard, as he was known, was kicking ass, it was decided he should return to the Fed but in a bigger role. Doing so in March 2012, he ate Alex Riley alive and even beat CM Punk and John Cena. Everything seemed like it was in place, apart from the fact he was Lord Tensai. To this day, I don't know what that was. He had Japanese words written all over his head and was backed up by Sakamoto. It was weird anyway, but the worst part was all the fans knew this was Albert and weren't shy about shouting it out loud. WWE had just tried to explain what was happening. I think it would have been fine, but they did not. Tensai was soon saddled with a losing streak, broke up with his manager type guy before being thrown into a tag team with Brodus Clay, known as Tons of Funk. Know how that goes. He was taken off TV and became a trainer in 2014, which does mean in many ways this shift ruined his career. Number 9, Paul Burchill to a pirate. I get why this was dumb, but damn it if I didn't like Paul Burchill as a pirate. I don't know why either, but he just hammed it up so well. Plus he swung off the aisleway. The thing is here, we had a great talent who was underused in WWE and then not allowed to show what he could do because he was just a Jack Sparrow knockoff. There were glimpses before this when he and Regal tagged together, but in 2006 he embraced his inner peg leg by pirating it up. It seems as if this was Burchill's idea too, telling people he had family ties to Blackbeard and then turning up to SmackDown in full-on cosplay. He even renamed his finisher to Walk in the Plank. Arr. It only lasted a few months, but during that period it was like we'd gone back to 1995. Chance of Pirate Paul within a part of anything else he did in WWE, which may have been why they let him go in 2010. Today I think he works as a fireman, so at least we know he's a damn good dude. Number 8, Smash to Repo Man. Right, breaking the fourth wall here, but screw it. Over here on What Culture Wrestling, I often go through top 10 lists over at whatculture.com and adapt them for video purposes. Just makes sense. So imagine my rage, my horror and my disgust when I was reading through and got to number 8, only to read the words Repo Man. Are you kidding me? Easily the best gimmick in WWE history, if not wrestling altogether. It took Smash, who was one half of Demolition, a legendary tag team, and gave him gold following a very good run with the duo. Split up in 1991, he donned a Zorro mask, wore a grey coat, and started to repossess people's things as Repo Man. It was genius. How could anybody cheer for Repo Man? You can't. Perfect heel. Smash acted a bit like the Riddler and even used his rope to tie opponents up so he could pin them really easily. And at the 1992 Royal Rumble, he snuck into the ring to eliminate Nikolai Volkov and Greg Valentine. That ain't bad at all. Some folk also think it's weird that Smash came up with this himself, but that just means he's a smart dude. He left WWE in 1993, and I genuinely long for the day when Repo Man returns. I am not kidding. Number 7, Cody Rhodes to Stardust. Well, this one kicked WWE in the rear, didn't it? Now one of the most important stars on the entire wrestling scene, Cody Rhodes is a hot commodity ever since he went out on his own in May 2016. From there, it's been an upward trend, so it's fairer to say Stardust didn't kill his career, but did kill his run with the world's biggest promotion. Let's not get this wrong either. Cody was great as Stardust and embraced the character as much as anybody could. He flipped and danced around like a pro, but it wasn't what he wanted to do, understandably. Given how long it lasted too, it started to get a bit dull by the end for the same reasons we've already touched upon. It was time for a change, which Cody wanted, but he was told no. Rhodes was even willing to play this new Goldust on Raw and a more realistic version of himself on SmackDown, but even that wasn't given the green light. What else was a man to do? In Cody's head, it was leave WWE, smash the indie scene, and then give birth to a new company that could challenge the biggest dog in the yard. Yeah. It's a good plan. Number 6, Perry Saturn to Perry Saturn and Moppy. In hindsight, the Radicals really were a mixed bag in WWE. Two would go on to be world champions. Dean Malenko did alright but wasn't ever really given a proper opportunity, and Perry Saturn didn't even last more than a couple of years. That's probably because at one point he was given a mop as a partner. I don't know. But after Saturn had legitimately attacked Job and Mike Bell after a botch in the ring, officials weren't too keen on old Perry, so thought they'd have some fun with him. As punishment, from nowhere, Saturn fell in love with the mop so much so that one angle even had the former WWE star choose the cleaning tool over Terry Runnels, a real-life human female. That annoyed Miss Runnels, who chucked Moppy into a wood chipper, ruining Saturn's life in the process. It also ruined his career, because what was he meant to do after this? Fans actually quite enjoyed the whole thing while it lasted, but he had nowhere else to go. He was always going to be the mop guy. Perry would leave the WWE in 2002, and this is so bizarre, it's all that people remember. Number 5, Mystico to Sin Cara. When Mystico signed with WWE, it seemed like a no-brainer. The company needed a new Rey Mysterio, and Mystico was already one of Mexico's biggest stars. Triple H's first hire as Vice President of Talent Relations was surely a home run when he signed in 2011. It was unlikely he'd keep the name and instead became Sin Cara, and, well, it didn't go all that good. Debuting in April, he was amazing at first, but it was also clear that he wasn't settling in like expected. He developed an unfortunate reputation for botching in big matches, which happens of course, but then fell foul of WWE's wellness policy. The road to Mysterio greatness seemed a long way away. WWE's patience was running thin by 2013, and after falling out with Alberto Del Rio during a match, Mystico was let go. The former Hunico inherited the gimmick, and Mystico has since returned to Mexico as Caristico. Confusing, right? Doesn't seem like he'll ever head back that way, so while the man behind the mask is back doing well in the South, the gimmick didn't help him one bit. I would admit, first time I saw him fly over the ropes, I didn't realise it was a trampoline helping him, and was truly amazed. I'm an idiot. Number 4, Mike Awesome to the Fat Chick Thriller. Don't need to explain this one, do I? Just say the name out loud to yourself a few times. Fat Chick Thriller. Even if you like Vince Russo, that is bad. He ain't main event in Starrcade, is he? In short, WCW had no idea what they had in Mike Awesome. Widely regarded as one of the most athletically impressive big men ever, Awesome was nicknamed the 300-pound luchador during his time in ECW. His game wasn't perfect, but with the right manager or setup, he could have been huge. That's why when he signed for World Championship Wrestling in 2000, it seemed like his big break had arrived. He made a promising start as the career killer by attacking champion Kevin Nash, and famously threw Chris Kanyon from the top of a cage. Anything he did have was burned though when Awesome became obsessed with heavier women, and the Fat Chick Thriller was born. It was genuinely terrible, and any potential Awesome had was undermined, and he just had to be a comedy character for no good reason. There were attempts to salvage him, but the cure was worse than the disease, as all created have was that 70s guy, another gimmick you can figure out for yourself. Awesome's career never truly recovered from this, and he lasted just a year with WWE after eventually signing in 2001. Number 3, Typhoon to the Shockmaster. Bad at the time, sure, but isn't this what everybody wants? A gimmick that lasts forever and will never be forgotten? Because that's what the Shockmaster is and always will be. The best bit is, even without the infamous trip on his debut, the idea still sucks. Some dude in a sparkly Stormtrooper helmet. That's it. That is as far as the whole thing goes. It's worse that before this, Fred Ottman was Typhoon, one half of a title-winning Natural Disasters tag team, and had a lot of respect. In case you don't know, on his very first appearance as the Shockmaster, Fred tripped up on the set and fell on his face as Davey Boy Smith loudly shouted that he fell on his arse. WCW didn't take advantage of that and just carried on regardless, but that was ignoring the obvious. The fall was all anyone remembered or wanted to talk about, and while Ottman did return to WWE for a brief run in 1994, it never really went anywhere. But look, the Shockmaster still makes him cash today, and he seems like a happy dude. That's literally all that matters. Go and watch it either way, it's really good. Number 2, Terry Taylor to the Red Rooster. Wildly regarded as one of wrestling's hottest prospects in the 1980s, his career took an unfortunate downturn with Jim Crockett's acquisition of the UWF in 1987, but it looked like Taylor was going to reach his full potential after transitioning to the WWE the following year. Debuting as scary Terry Taylor, Vince McMahon felt like that wasn't what he wanted in his company, so repackaged him as the Red Rooster. Paired with the legendary Bobby Heenan, Taylor's gimmick didn't quite reach gobbledygooker levels, but it wasn't far off. He wore red tights, a red coat, and even styled his hair like he was a rooster. To finish it off, Terry would strut around the ring. Surprised he didn't develop a stutter. I say. You'll be shocked to hear it didn't work and Taylor almost hit a brick wall because, ironically, all of this was so hard to get over. He had further spells with both the big two promotions, but it's still this we remember him for. Taylor retired from the ring in 2006, having become TNA's head of talent relations 3 years prior, and he joined WWE as an NXT trainer in 2012. Number 1, DDP the Stalker. Signing for WWE is awesome, but that doesn't equal guaranteed success. DDP was the man in WCW and seemingly excited to move across to Vince McMahon's operation in 2001 following WWE's major purchase. He saw what he could achieve and didn't want to waste any time in doing so. Amazingly, Page was even going to go head to head with The Undertaker. All we needed was this to be the DDP we remembered from Atlanta and forget about it. Off to the races we would go. You already know what happens. Instead, someone decided Diamond Dallas should stalk Taker's wife Sarah in a bunch of videos before his debut, before eventually revealing that yes, it was the master of the diamond cutter behind it all. WWE went all in with this too, meaning DDP came across like a creepy criminal, which gave all the justification for the Phenom to destroy him in their feud. Sarah even beat Page on one episode of Raw, and that really was the end of his career. He won the European title and had a memorable program with Christian before walking away in 2002. I don't think DDP cares, given that he's not only an utter success, but also the nicest man ever.